Did you hear? 3 federal officers, U.S. Marshals, shot and killed this afternoon in Charlotte, North Carolina. They were serving a warrant. We hear something like 8 to 10 other officers were shot and wounded, some seriously. We have seen a lot of this, and over the past 4 years, these numbers have skyrocketed, attacks on law enforcement. And I do believe you can link this to Black Lives Matter summer. Yep, absolutely. The delegitimization of law enforcement by the media, by the far left, by Black Lives Matter. It took hold and fundamentally changed this country. This, I can make the case, is on the left. Absolutely. More to come as we learn more facts. Also, you've seen these horrible anti-Semitic demonstrations all over the country. Well, this is the key to understanding them. ICE. Remember ICE. They're based on ignorance. They're based on conformity. And yeah, some evil thrown in there as well. And a lot of complicity from, again, the Democrat Party, facilitating this hate, condoning it, looking the other way, and those horrible woke college administrators. What a dark, dark time. But I feel like we can see the light, don't you? It's going to be a tough year. We have to hang in there. I'll tell you right now, I'm encouraged when I look at the so-called evidence against Donald Trump. You know, over the weekend, I was able to actually look at the transcripts. They have no case. If the media were honest, if the judge were honest, he would have dismissed this already. I mean, the stuff that's in here, the case totally disintegrates. Now, it's supposed to be about falsified documents, right? This case is about falsified documents, but instead we're talking about what the National Enquirer did regarding a person named Karen McDougal. But there's a lot of other things in here. Oh, and don't forget Stormy Daniels. She's going to come up later. Can I just set up for everybody, though, what has been missing from the dialogue about this case, from the conversation? That the National Enquirer has been hooking up celebrities for about a half century at least. Yes, including Donald Trump, decades before he became a presidential candidate. So David Pecker, the then CEO of National Enquirer, was on the stand for most of last week, and nobody has reported on this stuff, but it is important. The question from Donald Trump's attorney on cross-examination of Mr. Pecker: so you ran articles about President Trump because it was good for business, correct? Yes. Let's talk a little bit about how you met President Trump. Yes, okay. You have known him for about 40 years, right? That's right. And so that takes us back to around the late 1980s. Yup. So even by that period, you were looking to President Trump as somebody who can help the National Enquirer make money, correct? Answer, yes. And it was always your intention, dating back to the early parts of this friendship, to not public negative stories about President Trump. Publish, I believe it's supposed to say. Correct? Yes, it is. It was not good for business, correct? Publishing negative stories. Yes. And it was not good for your relationship with President Trump, right? Yes. And that was not unique to President Trump, was it? Nobody likes bad publicity. Oh, no. And everybody laughs. Now, 1998 was one of the first times that you gave President Trump a heads up about a potentially negative story, correct? Yep. All right. All the way back in 1998. And you are aware that many politicians work with the media to try and promote their image, right? Yes. And to promote their brand, correct? Yes. To facilitate their campaigns, correct? Yes. Standard operating procedure, as you understand it, correct? Yes. Standard operating procedure. Everybody does this stuff, including Democrats. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I guess technically is a Republican, but he's pretty liberal. And he's a big fan of Joe Biden. Remember this?
We support you with all our hearts as you seek to bring us together. And to those who think they can overturn the United States Constitution, know this: you will never win. President-elect Biden, we stand with you today, tomorrow, and forever.
Well, speaking of the Constitution, Arnold, we don't appoint leaders here forever. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, big fan of the environment, right? That's why the left loves him so much, except he does have his own personal tank. How about that one? And as a Republican, he's been sucking up the Democrats for a long time. All right. But Arnold had a bit of a woman problem that is about light years more intense than anything even alleged about Donald Trump. Take a look at this on cross-examination. So this morning you mentioned one story that you purchased for Arnold Schwarzenegger, correct? Purchased in 2000, yes, he says, and purchased in 2003, right? Yes. But in fact, 30 or 40 women came to you and AMI, the parent company, was following that, the announcement of his candidacy, correct? Yes. And you spent almost $1 million purchasing the rights to those stories, correct? Answer, I don't think it was that high. Several hundred thousand? It was several hundred of thousands of dollars. And Mr. Schwarzenegger never paid you back for that, correct? No, he did not. And oh, by the way, if you're thinking, well, didn't Donald Trump pay back? No, actually, the National Enquirer, this is totally separate from that other thing with Stormy. We'll get to that later. Look, they've criminalized something that happens all the time. When people they like Arnold, do it, or people they love, like Rahm Emanuel. You know Rahm Emanuel, the guy on the left there? He is currently the ambassador to Japan, but he's had bigger jobs than that. Rahm Emanuel was chief of staff to Barack Obama. Yep, very, very tight. He was the political director for Bill Clinton. Very tight. And let's see here. He became the mayor of Chicago. Wow. He had a lot going on. He also has a high-powered brother by the name of Rahm Emanuel, who runs William Morris Endeavor. The big Uber agent, Entourage, apparently. The Jeremy Piven guy was based on him. So, you want to know something about Rahm? Well, this is according to the prosecutors and what was brought out by this is their witness. And what Rahm Emanuel wanted help with was a story about an affair that Rahm Emanuel had, correct? Yes. An affair that happened in 2009 after Rahm Emanuel left the White House, right? Yes. Okay. And you did help suppress the story, correct? I did. You acquired the rights to it. I did. And you did that for Rahm Emanuel and for Rahm, correct? Yes. This is the way it works. It's okay, again, for Democrats. It's okay for Democrats. Now, there's something else you won't find out about this trial from the fake news. Michael Cohen. Wow, what a character this guy is. He loves publicity. Look at how happy he is. Take a good look at his face. He's drinking up the attention. He actually basks in it. He loves it. Well, a lot of this stuff he always wanted. He was craving it. And he actually asked the National Enquirer to create buzz around him to make Donald Trump jealous. So let's go back to the transcript, shall we? It's all in there. There was a point where he had a possible job with Mark Cuban. And Mr. Cohen was looking at potentially working with Mr. Cuban, right? That's what Mr. Cohen told me. Okay, next please. He asked you, did he not, to send paparazzi to photograph the meeting between Cohen and Cuban, right? Yes, he did. Okay, this is again from David Pecker, the head of the National Enquirer. And he made that request because he said that would put pressure on President Trump to treat Cohen differently, right? Yes. And you agreed to help him do that, right? Yes. That's quite a scheme. Let me get this straight. Michael Cohen asked the National Enquirer to send phony photographers to film him having a meeting with Mark Cuban to make Donald Trump jealous. This guy, they are going to destroy him on the witness stand. Now, all this stuff is very understandable. It really is. It's gossipy. It's trash. It doesn't mean anything. But it is easy to understand. But the fake news won't tell you that. Who has time to read these silly transcripts, right? Nobody does. And they're not going to tell you what's in it. I mean, you see the little juicy tidbits we just went through? Here's the fake news on Friday, the last day we actually had court, telling you this is too hard for anybody to understand.
David Pecker returned to the stand for a fourth and final day and was cross-examined pretty aggressively by the defense lawyer, Emile Beauvais. He had a great command of the details of this case, but as he took Pecker into those details, it could be difficult to keep track of what he was trying to say. For those of us who are reporting on this case and who know it reasonably well already, it was still hard to follow. And that makes me imagine that it might have been hard even for some of the jurors.
All right. No, I don't think so, actually. Rahm having an affair, the guy who learned politics from Bill Clinton, and paying to have that story removed. I don't think that's too hard to believe. Arnold Schwarzenegger having 40, what did they call it? What did George Stephanopoulos call it? George Stephanopoulos actually called it bimbo eruptions. If you have a problem with it, George Stephanopoulos is the guy who coined that, and they still say it in politics. I can understand that. And Michael Cohen, the weak, insecure Michael Cohen, calling the National Enquirer to have phony photographers sent so he feels important, and so Donald Trump would feel jealous. Give me a break. Well, he didn't calculate that part correctly. It is a joke. They're tying up the future president of the United States, hoping to harm him. It won't work, but wow, are they revealing themselves.